Hello, today my name is Nick. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm here to read the Daily Reflections book for October 5th, 2025. It's called Yesterday's Baggage. For the wise have always known that no one man can make much of his life until self-searching becomes a regular habit, until he is able to admit and accept what he finds, and until he patiently and persistently tries to correct what is wrong. That's found in the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions book on page 88. Here's one such book. I have more than enough to handle today without dragging along yesterday's baggage too. I must balance today's book if I am to have a chance tomorrow. So I ask myself if I have erred and how I can avoid repeating that particular behavior. Did I hurt anyone? Did I help anyone? And why? Some of today is bound to spill over into tomorrow, but most of it need not if I make an honest daily inventory. Period. The end of the reading. One moment. I bet I could find a lot of things to talk about within this one. Because this, okay, if you remember back a few days ago, somewhere in the very beginning of this month, I said, let's all learn about step 10 together, basically. Because I didn't have anything, I don't know, I didn't have much of use for any of us, maybe. About the 10th step. I was trying to go somewhere and it wasn't working or something, whatever. And then I got another problem right away in my head that there's always use for everything, basically. Now, what I mean by that is that, like, failure will point to where something is broken, usually, and then you can work to correct that. That's why step 10 is very useful for us. And now it's popping back into mind why. What I was trying to connect together, I think, was four things. One of them was God or your higher power, or whatever kind of concept you have of that, a power greater than yourself, something larger than yourself. And two other things: a spiritual component, just blanking on it. See, this is what happens when you try and do two things at once. Or more accurately, this is what happens when I try and do two things at once. I bet there's an AA fix for that, and it might be called either first things first or one day at a time. There's two things. Keep it simple. That's another third thing. So these steps are useful just for little tiny things like that that maybe don't have much footing in alcoholism. Let me read this again because I've got different thoughts now already. So the AA Daily Reflection for October 5th, 2025 is called Yesterday's Baggage. For the wise have always known that no one man can make much of his life until self-searching becomes a regular habit. That's like one thing. Until he is able to admit and accept what he finds. That's two things. And until he patiently and persistently tries to correct what is wrong. That's 3 things that a wise person has always known, apparently. That's from the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 88. I have more than enough to handle today. Amen. That I can just let my mind go forward with the rest of today. And at some days it just seems to be too much. And then actually some days it is too much. But we can all talk about that later. Without dragging along yesterday's baggage too. So I don't need to have yesterday's baggage clogging up what I have on the calendar for today. I must balance today's books if I am to have a chance tomorrow. I would have stuck an even in there. I must balance today's book if I am even to have a chance tomorrow. So I ask myself if I have erred or made a mistake and how I can avoid repeating that particular behavior. Did I hurt anyone? Did I help anyone, and why? Some of today is bound to spill over into tomorrow, but most of it need not if I make an honest daily inventory. I didn't mention this yet, but I had this is maybe the 9th time I've read through this today. This is about the 3rd time I started recording this. The first one was a sound check. The second one was a not helpful idea that went about 40 seconds and I quit. And then this one's still kind of disjointed, if you noticed. Yeah, whatever. So some of today is bound to spill over into tomorrow. At the surface level, and right now, this moment in today's life in my area here, in my life at this area, at this time right now,